Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon and welcome to a new video. This time we're heading to Daytona Milton Keynes, and as you might be able to see on your screen, it is rather sunny. So I thought for this video we will start off with qualifying and just our fastest lap in qualifying, and then I thought, you know what, I'm lazy, so I'm not going to cut out any of the footage from the race. So coming up is the fastest lap from the qualifying session, which, no surprises, put me on pole. So yeah, it was a pretty decent lap. It is my second time at Milton Keynes, so I had a bit of practice before, but that was in the road taxis, and these are the N35s, which are 270cc Honda engine pro karts. So let's go through a lap, try to get a nice exit. You can use up all of this curb. In the race I went 2 seconds faster than this, but hey ho. So flat out through turn 1, use up all of the track, and then you kind of want to go full send into this chicane. We take it nice and smooth. In the end we end up going a bit quicker into turn 3, hairpin. I kind of missed the apex then. You can hear and really feel the kart bogging down on the exit of the corner. Then you've got turn 4. You want to be gentle on the entry into this corner, just so that you don't lose any momentum, you don't slide around. It's all about being smooth in these karts. And then into turn 6, completely flat, up the hill into turn 7. It is a hairpin, and you can use up a lot of the track on corner exit. You'll see over the course of this video me getting better and better with every lap and using up more of the circuit. Anyway, down into turn 8. This is a really fun corner because you can use up the track on exit, and you want to carry as much speed as possible through the corner, because otherwise you you lose time all the way down the straight into turn 9, which is a completely flat left-hander. You hold it to the left, hard on the brakes into the hairpin, and back onto the power as early as possible through 10. And now up into turn 11. So this lap was a 1:15 point something, and in the race we ended up doing a 1:13. So there was another 2 seconds to be found, and this lap put us on pole by about, I think it was about 2-3 tenths of a second over the guy who was in second. So with that said, let's head into the race. And as you can see, well, we've got a marshal standing over us. That's because we had issues with our kart. So our kart got replaced. So the kart I'm in is different from qualifying, and this kart, well, the engine died, so the marshals had to come and start it back up while I was on the grid. So I've now had 2 karts that have died on me while sitting on the starting grid, and as the visor down sign comes up, I put my hand up because my engine has died once again. So for the 3rd time the engine has died, and the lights are going off, but it's a full start. So this is probably one of the most the most chaotic start, pre-start, I've ever had in a corporate karting race. So I have a quick chat with the marshal about me not wanting to get a jump start, because the only way I can keep the engine going is by putting revs into the kart, which means, well, the kart moves forward a bit. So the marshal said that he'll stand it next to me. Now the big issue though is the fact that this is a brand new car that's not done any laps. So the tyres are, well, freezing cold. You might as well have pulled them out of a freezer. Minus 270 degree tyres and all of that kind of stuff. So the marshal's just keeping the revs going for me. And now the lights appear. So the marshal runs away, and we are away and racing at Milton Keynes for our opening lap. And I knew that I had to be really defensive because I knew that my tyres would be dead. So into turn 1 I want to go like 80%, not full send. And yeah, you can just see the amount of slide we get through that corner. So coming out of turn 2, I hold it all the way to the inside to make sure that I can't get sent. Really, really slow through the hairpin of turn 4. Just because I knew I was going to get sent. This guy goes to my outside, but I'm just making sure I hold the inside and I keep it as tight as possible so that this guy can't get a switch back, and he's on my outside again. But I don't care if he's on my outside, as long as he's not on my inside, I can hold on to the position. We let the car out on the exit of the corner. This guy gets a switch back, but I don't care because I'm still on the inside. And now that we've done half a lap, I say, okay, I think my tyres should have enough temperature, so we can push for a lap. Yippee! So heading down into this corner, I'll probably take it a little bit tentatively because I don't know how much temp I've got into the tyres. But I have enough, and I just have a look behind me. I can see that second is kind of there, but not quite there. Into this corner, I give a little lift midway through just in case the tyres aren't fully up to temp yet. But it felt okay. I didn't feel any sliding, so I decided, right, now we can fully push. No issues with the car. Through the final corner we go, and now it's a case of getting our heads down and just pushing up the grid. So turn 1 again completely flat, and because it is the early stages of this race, it is a point where we've got no traffic around us whatsoever. So it's a chance to just continue to improve, continue to learn the track, experiment with some lines as well, which I do end up doing. I try out a few different things, but it takes me a few laps to get to that point. So this lap is a 1:15.1, so it's actually quicker than the lap I did in qualifying, and I mean you can visibly see that it's been a fairly good lap so far through this left-hander. Again, I use a lot more track than I did in that qualifying lap, which is, well, it's the reason why it's a quicker lap time, and that's one of the big things. So if any of you guys are planning on going to Daytona Milton Keynes and you're driving in these N35 Karts, you use up the curbs on corner exits because they don't bite. Apart from this one, so this one on the right that you can see with the brickwork, it sucks you out, so you don't want to use that. This time we go flat out through the left-hander, into the right, on the power nice and early, and we kind of use up that curb a little bit, but not too much, so it's all fine. And then through this corner, on the power, and using up the curb again. So this lap, we improve even more. 1:14 this time round, so the times do continue to drop, and I start to learn that you can go more and more send through that chicane into this hairpin. That hairpin is fairly fun, and I can see second dropping back. There is an orange helmet that you'll sometimes see, which is Mr. Hussein Rashid, who was kind enough to join me for the race on a very late invite, along with Technovin. So it's all three of us racing, but it is Hussein's first time here at the circuit, and this circuit is very, very difficult to learn. Nice early apex, and kind of when I was watching this footage back earlier on today, I realised that through that left hairpin you do want to take an early apex because you've got so much room on the exit of the corner to just fly through as someone has a spin and a half. And look at the closing speed we get on this guy, and that's what happens if you get a good run out of that corner at the bottom of the hill. And probably weighing 10 kilos less than the other guy helps, because in full kit I'm probably about 80 kilos, and that guy, I don't know, maybe it was like 90, 95. You can just see from his build in the kart. So we head into the final corner once again. We're a little bit off the apex. We don't carry as much speed as I would have liked, and I think that was one of my issues. I was very smooth, but I think in every corner I could have been carrying a good 2-3 miles an hour more. And now I start really using that curb on the inside of turn 3. So if you look back through the previous laps and the qualifying lap, I don't use that curb on the inside of turn 3, but now I do start using the curb because, yeah, I'm learning, I'm adapting as we catch up to number 26. Easy move down the inside. This corner I did eventually take flat out, but at this point I'm just making a little lift at one point, as again, very nice line through that left-hander. I like to call this race my practice for the VKC 24 hours, because the 24 hours is coming up in, well, we did this race on Sunday the 4th of June, and 2 weeks from then is the 24-hour race at Teesside, so those are in prokarts, so this is a good chance to get up to speed. As again, flat out through this left-hand, I think I could have been holding it tighter to the apex, as through that right I think is the trickiest corner on the circuit for me anyway to get right, because I always felt like I was doing it a little bit wrong, as we get a decent run and we could have carried even more speed if we could have let the kart out further, but alas we couldn't. Another 13.9, and you can see that we're sending it a lot more into that chicane, but there's still a lot more time in that corner. Even here, it's looking back, I do feel like I'm just restricting the car a little bit on corner exits. I should just be opening up the steering a little bit more. We get a good exit on 25 turns around, he looks at us, we have a look at him as well, and then we don't look at him anymore because we're flying off into the sunset. We close up to, who's this? Mr. 30 through the left-hander. Mr. 30 wearing a neck brace as well. What a child. We give him a little bump into this corner, and then down the inside we go into my favourite corner on the circuit, and look how much speed we carry. I actually reckon that is the best I took turn 8 all race long. I don't think I ever hooked up a lap perfectly, but that was the closest I got to it, and there we get a really good run through the left into this right-hander. And considering this is a 13.9, if I don't have this guy in front of me, I reckon this could have been a 13.8, a 13.7, especially considering I got held up by someone in front of me. This lap though is a 1:19, so I'm not sure what happens on this lap. I mean, we're getting held up by a lot of back markers. We get a nice little switchback, and up ahead that is Mr. Techno then, our old teammate from the European Racing Series. So we let Techno take his bad line, and he slides on exit. I give him a little wave, so he waves back. But yeah, he slides on the exit of the corner, which means that we just get a much better run. And through this, we carry so much more speed than the guy up ahead. It's kind of crazy. I thought that yellow flag was for the other side of the track, so I was going to overtake, and then I realized it was for our side, so I let him back through. And how I braked, let this guy go, went back on the throttle, and then overtook him on one straight is kind of beyond me. So I don't know if he just... I genuinely think when some people go corporate karting, they don't like press the throttle all the way down. I don't know why you wouldn't, but I genuinely think some people don't. As is, I think this is the professional term for this is a clusterfuck of cars into turn 10. But we get through, so that's why we lost a whole bunch of time, because we had to slow down for that yellow flag, and then a big yellow flag into turn 9. And this lap, I know why this lap is slow, and we'll see that one in a second as the video gets a little bit choppy, but hopefully it cleans up in a second. We're on the back of number 17, and okay, we have a bit of a bump with him on the exit of the corner. I give him a hand up to say, sorry about that one, mate. He tries to defend from me, and there you go. Every time that kart slides, so there you can see his back end just snaps out on him, you've lost half a second. These karts aren't quick karts. They need a lot of time to get up to speed, so you want to carry your momentum. It's all about being smooth, opening up the steering like that. You know, use up all of the track possible. You can also see on the shadow, right on the bottom, like middle of your screen, you can see my GoPro on the helmet every now. I'm actually really glad I got this GoPro. It's been quite fun, because it means I actually get to look back at these videos, and I get to make these videos and put them on YouTube as well. So either way, into turn 9 we go, and this is the point in the race where I say, you know what, I'm a little bit bored. So I slow down and I say, where is second? There is second. So I decide to go really slowly because I want second to overtake me, just so I can have a little race with him and rub into his face just how much quicker than him I am. It wasn't for the second reason. I just wanted to have some fun, and I was a little bit bored by myself at the front. So this lap at 1:18, I lose another 5 seconds. I'm letting these guys go. I tell him to go, so now I can race with him. And let's see then how you can overtake someone who is not atrocious at this circuit, let's say. Because I think all of the back markers I get past are atrocious pace. Sorry, Techno, but either way, we go through this corner. We almost have a little dink, and you see how much quicker we are than number 1. We come into this right hand. I have a think about the inside. This guy takes way too early of an apex into the carousel, into this left hand. Again, good run. We give him a little nudge on corner exit, and somehow, I don't know how, but we end up coming down his inside. The guy wasn't heavy, so I think he might be weighing 5 kilos more than me, but that's not a lot in karting terms. Either way, we're back up into the lead of the race, and yeah, now we can have, I don't know, some more fun, because at that point I thought it'd be harder for me to get past him. So now I was just like, oh, what do I do? So I guess go round and round the circuit until the time ends is the plan of action right now. Now I think this next lap is my fastest lap of the race, so I'll give you a run through of this lap. I think this is a 13.5. Okay, no, this is a 15.2. So this lap isn't particularly good. Let's see if we can spot where the mistake is. Very good through turns 2 and 3, I do believe. Then late onto the brakes into this corner, back on the power, and that's very important. You want to be on the throttle before the corner itself. So I'm doing all of my braking before the corner rather than trail braking into the corner. It does mean that you can get overtaken on corner exit, but sorry, on corner entry you can get overtaken. I think I almost took that right flat. Now we have a send down the inside into this left. Again, let the kart all the way out on corner exit. Now we've got a few karts in front of us, and this is going to hold us up a lot, because until this point this was a pretty quick lap. So we just go down the inside, nicely done, come back across, back early on the power. Oh, make contact, his head goes everywhere. But now look at this. We catch back up to him. I don't know how much this guy weighs, but maybe he weighs about 90 kilos with full race suit on or something. because that's a lot. That, or he's not pressing his accelerator. Or maybe I've just got the monster kart. So here we go then, through the final corner. We get a good run on Mr. 23. We're going to have a go up the inside, as this lap is a 118. Okay, I remember why this happens. So pretty much all of the lap is pretty good. Turns 2 and 3 was a bit off sliding into the corner. That's not good. I could have used a lot more circuit on exit. Into the first of the long right-handers. Again, a fairly good run. And past one of the back markers we go. Yeah, again, this race is just me going past back markers. Because, yeah, just far and away quicker. My fast lap was about 2 seconds quicker than anyone else's. Pretty good run coming out off the top of the hill. This guy's got his own helmet and suit and boots and gloves. And he bottles it, doesn't go on the brakes, so that happens, and then we get past, we get overtaken by the race leader. Shot, gasp, horror, but there's still plenty of time left, and I wasn't really bothered by it, because I was like, you know what, I get to have another battle. I told myself at the time, you know what, I let him back through. That's what was going on. But look how much we catch up. So we catch up a fair bit into the braking of that corner, and that's what, about 3 kart lengths between us. We put a wheel on the brickwork, which actually unsettles the kart, so that loses us some time. But we're gaining all the way up this hill just because we got a better exit out of that final corner, and look how much we gain here. So much time. We're right on his rear end heading into this corner, and if I wanted to, I could have hit his rear into that corner, but I had to take it a bit easier. So into the first of these right-handers we go. Again, I'm just gentler, easier onto the throttle, and as a result I get a better exit. We have a look to the inside. He doesn't defend the position, so we get it done. We let the kart out. We have a little bit of a contact with him, but all's fair. It was my racing line, as some might say. So this lap was a 1:14.1, and considering I overtook that guy on that lap, that's pretty good, because he definitely held me up into a couple of corners. So this would have been a 1:13 if not for that. So every time you see the camera like looking down, it's me putting my head down while I drive, because I like to think it makes me more aerodynamic and less air resistant, so I go quicker. But a nice run into this corner, and I think this is where I experiment, and I go up onto the curb on the exit, and I use that curb, and I find that it actually helps me a lot. Missed the apex completely, so this could have easily been a 1:13. So there's not too much longer left in this, and this is our fastest lap of the race, a 1:13.6. So look how much speed we carry into this corner. Back on the power, using up the curb all the way out, put it back to the right, back on the power, and again, let the kart out, up onto that curb on corner exit. All about opening up the steering as much as possible into this corner. Again, I let the kart out nice and early, using this curb on exit. And even if you think that it doesn't help to let the kart out, trust me, it does. Completely flat through this corner. You can see my right foot. It does not come off the throttle at all through that corner. Slightly earlier apex. Again, using up all of the tarmac on exit on that runoff. Again, could have gone a little bit quicker. There's definitely a tenth in that corner. As we come down the hill into this left. Didn't use up all of the track, so I think there's another 2/10 there or so. If I'd got onto the power a bit early, carried a bit more speed. So I think this lap could have definitely been a low 13. We get past one guy into this long left-hander, late onto the brakes, on the power, early apex. We don't use up the curve on the exit, and now we've got to go down the inside. So this is another 10th gone, but this is where we find out that we can use the curbing a lot earlier on the exit of that corner. But we don't really convert it on this lap. This lap's a 1:14.5, so I'm not sure where I lose it, because turn 2 and 3 look absolutely beautiful. There is a car slow through turn 4. That looked really nice. That did look nice. There was a bit of sliding, so I'm not sure what my minimum speed was as we come into this corner. Again, early apex, let it out, up onto the curb. We're going to close in on number 4, so we could have a look up the inside, but we're going to decide against it. We're going to go a long way, all the way around the outside of kart number 4. I don't know about you guys, but that was, I think that's my favourite move of the race. I really enjoyed that one. Because round the outside of a carousel is difficult. So I think that's where I lost at least half a second, maybe more. That was a really good run through turn 8. That might have been the best run through turn 8, because I practically clip the tyre wall on the inside, and I use up all of the track on the exit. So That looks really good. There's a yellow flag here, so we have a little bit of a lift. So that's a few more tenths gone. Back onto the power nice and early. And I didn't quite like using up that curb on the exit of turn 9 when I did it, so I decided against it for the rest of the race. Not a good run through the final corner. And now we just have a few laps left. We can see the timer. I use that brake work and it sucks me out. That's how I know you don't want to use the brake work here, because it just sucks you. We've got 11 in front of us, so easy send up the inside, onto the power early, use up the curbing. Honestly, if anyone's going to Daytona Milton Keynes, my tip is early apexes, let the kart out nice and wide. The only corner where you definitely don't want an early apex is this corner, because you want to leave it out just like I am. You want to bring it in, have a little lift, hold it to the outside, job done before I'm even on the brakes into this left. And again, so much tarmac that you can use, or concrete, whatever it is. I think it's tarmac. Even into this corner I think you can get an early apex, but you just want to be on the power nice and early through every corner. So this lap was a 13.8, and I mean, we lost a little bit of time, but not a huge amount. Look how much we catch this guy. I end up going up the inside. I probably could have done it on the outside as well, but yeah. It's kind of weird how much quicker I am. It's almost like I've got turbos on my car relative to some of the other drivers, but I know I don't. The kart does feel very good in a straight line compared to everyone else, but I don't know if that's just because the kart's good or because everyone else is bad. And I'm leaning towards the latter. Because the pace of this kart felt very similar to the pace of my previous kart. So penultimate lap of the race, we get a good run coming through this left-hander once again. Closing up to 29, up the inside we go. This guy's leaning back in this car a lot, it feels. Or he's very short. That's number 35. I'm just looking to see when I can come across him. Look at my right foot, little left there, because I get the turn in a bit wrong. I think I turned in a bit too early. So yeah, not a good run out of that left hand. I should have taken an earlier apex. But yeah, kind of looking back at this, I've learned a lot about the Daytona circuit. And if I go again, I reckon I can get a 112 rather than a 113. And that's why it's always helpful to record your races and look back at it. Like, if you're slow, it doesn't help too much. You can learn a lot I mean, just look at the guys ahead of you when you race. If you're towards the back, just follow their lines a bit and practice, I guess. But sometimes it helps a lot. Anyway, last lap of the race. Flat out through turn 1 once again. We've got 2 karts in front of us. We should be able to get past them. We missed the apex slightly. We catch up to number 7. I have a think about the outside. I go up the inside, make it a double overtake. Maybe that's the best move of the day. I don't know. I think my outside of the carousel is even better. Again, leaning to the outside. You know, get the rear wheel down so it doesn't lift off the ground, so you can get the power on a bit better. And then I get the turn in wrong, so I have a little left through there again. But that corner should be flat, especially if you've got fresh new tyres, whereas these tyres are very old. They've gone through a lot of races. I could see before the race that they were rather worn. So into the final corner, this is where I see something weird. I see a car driving the opposite way, and that really throws me off. I actually thought it was Techno as well, but it turns out it wasn't Techno, so sorry Techno for assuming you were driving the wrong way down the circuit. But into the final corner we go, and it's a comfortable lead at the end. Sadly, it's not the fastest lap, or close to the lap record. I think the lap record is 111 or a high 110. So we got relatively close, but we take the win. I think I did a little dab or something stupid. And yes, that was my race at Daytona Milton Keynes. And I go nice and slowly. I think I do some like slides. Yeah, there we go. I slide it around just to have a bit of fun. But yeah, that's been Daytona Milton Keynes. Very fun circuit, I will give it that. And if you go there, you can race in these N35 Pro Karts, similar to what you get at most circuits, or you can go in the D-Maxes, which are road taxis, which are a lot more fun and a lot quicker. But it does seem that corporate suit you better. So yeah, that is everything for this video. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, stay milky. Assalamu alaikum.